Hi, everyone. So we are going to start in a few minutes. So just go ahead and hold on tight, get cozy, and once you say Cindy, we'll be starting soon.
Thank you. Thanks for the donuts. So we're about donuts.
Can everyone hear us okay? We just want to get a test first just to see. But can everyone hear us from this mic? And you guys can unmute if you want, but we just want to see if you can hear us.
I can.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Something else, just mostly delete. Okay.
But it is not in market yet.
It's not, okay.
The market, so they wanted to have the description. And then they text the agent and the agent told me that this weekend the description will be.
Awesome. Is it a home, townhouse?
You want to go there too?
Oh, that's why you asked about that.
Another one. The woman died in the property, but it was really old. But the one.
Wait, so will it bother them? if that one is over? Oh, okay. So that's good. Awesome. So, you know, how you can say,
Super helpful.
Yeah, and just put in there some notes about.
Super helpful.
I would use her language, just send it to her.
I heard like kids.
Basically, you know.
Are there kids playing?
And, you know, I usually do.
How are we doing? And do we have,
Yeah.
do we have, do we know?
We got
Any questions? I know. It's so scary. Like that, because you're saying documents, and you know.
This is gonna be nice because they used to like stalk me in the office. Like they would just, everybody would just come up to me and be like.
So we find something.
Yep. So now we are on.
It's
Right.
scary because people say, oh, they have insurance, but it would
Just make sure
That's scary.
nobody's,
No.
okay.
So
So I guess we're only, I'm gonna turn the volume off on this.
Even if our insurance covers some of it, it could cost us.
Stand here at the podium like a grown
Out
up.
of our own pockets, and that's scary. Plus, even if it
So should
costs
I
us
open my
money,
slides too, just so I can see, or I can see them here, right?
You see perfectly, are you this
Yeah, I
guy?
can see them.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I wrote them.
Or.
Alright,
so will they be able to hear me?
Yeah,
Though, I
And
know,
we
yeah.
have the sound on, so
But
otherwise, the floor is all yours, Cindy.
Hi, I guess I'm looking over here. I'm Cindy Selleos. I've been with Keller Williams for just over 4 years. And I think we introduced Opcity in our office in 2018. And I kind of got in on the ground level and I made a run for it. So I think it's a great tool. I think that it has an opportunity for success, for sure. 100%. I think that it's a great tool for newer agents, for agents who may or may not have some time on their hands once in a while. And you know what? Free money is always nice. So we'll get started. So this is directly from the website for Opcity. Opcity is owned by Realtor.com now. They purchased them, I think, in 2019. But it's a way to connect ready home buyers and sellers to the right real estate professionals at the right time. Opcity's data-driven, human-powered approach to online lead conversion has helped thousands of brokerages, lenders, and settlement service providers supercharge their lead gen ROI. This is powered by Realtor.com, and it's the free way to get leads, to have the opportunity to practice scripts, convert leads, and close transactions. Show me the money. So what can Opcity do for me? Well, what it does initially is it helps you to create some great follow-up skills, because Opcity will require you, once you win the lead, accept, the lead, chat with the lead, they want you to talk about it on their portal. Their portal is amazing in the fact that it will ping you every 7 days. Actually, I want to say it starts every 5 days saying, hey, you have updates coming. Hey, tell us what's going on. They text me, they email me, it's excessive, but it helps you to keep top of mind with those people, especially. They are internet leads. Keep that in mind. You have not met them in person yet. So you want to keep that conversation going. You want to keep connecting with them so that they remember who you are, okay? So what I'm gonna do is AJ, our tech guy, is gonna help me set up tasks in Command to mimic the Opcity reminder feature, which is a great thing that I found that really works for me, is having a little bubble that says, hey, you gotta pay attention, It's an amazing opportunity to practice for your scripts. Experiment with tones and mirror and matching. Now, if you don't know what that information means, mirror and matching is if you have someone talking to you and they're talking like this, you don't want to come at them like this because it's just too much for them. They're going to get on overload. You want to slow down, change the tone, and keep it at the same level. That's the mirroring and matching. That's a skill. That's hard to do. If you have a really heavy accent, you're going to need to slow down because you're speaking with someone who may or may not understand you as clearly as, say, your family member would. So you are talking to a stranger. You want to remember that. The scripts, they're pretty basic. Meg has a great class for scripts every week. So I would suggest, if you need a little bit of brushing up on some of those, to check that out. The MREA has some great scripts, as well as Bold. You can work out the kinks with the longer shot leads. These are internet leads. They're a lot less lucrative than, say, open house leads. But if you're going to practice, if you're going to learn and use these skills where they matter more at your open houses, you have to practice somewhere where it's not going to matter quite as much. Use it on the Opcity leads. It's just a smarter way to do it. You get paid without paying money upfront. Opcity is one of the only platforms that I've found that allows you to get a lead and work it and not pay until the end. That's also a really great thing for newer agents, because as a newer agent, we don't want you shelling out a ton of money because you don't have a ton of money coming in to offset that. Perfect for new agents to hone your skills and working on your confidence. Buyers and sellers, they can smell it on you. If you're not confident in the way that you're communicating, if you're not confident in what you're saying, and you don't feel like you're giving them trustworthy information, they'll smell it. So the practice is key. Live Connect. So what happens is, I'll show you later what happens, how it all kind of goes down, but you're connected to a buyer on the phone and you're talking to them right away. It's not like you have to cold call them back. It's a live connect, which is really helpful, but it also helps you to work on your tonality and your enthusiasm quotient. You have to come across that you love what you do. You're excited about what you do. You are so happy to be able to share this information with them, and they want to work with you because you're fun, because you know what you're talking about, because basically, you know, you're the man, I mean, or lady, but ultimately you're the expert. You want them to trust you and have confidence in you. It does track your numbers as well as your sales in conversions from spoke to met to contracts. So that is some helpful information. That's also data that you should be tracking on all of your other leads that you get. That helps you to see what maybe where your weakness is in the process. You know, maybe you get so far and then it just doesn't, something drops off and you're not able to do it.
So from Dimitri, he's asking how to get Opcity to send your seller leads.
You actually receive seller or buyer leads. It's not just buyer leads. Let me finish this one thing and then I'll go back. And then once you connect with these people, you put them in your database, right? We tell all new agents, fill your database, that's your data bank, and then drip on them through command. That's what we do. So Dimitri's question, they do send seller and buyer leads. Last year I had a seller and a buyer lead that was, I think, total approximately $6.2 million. I would say it's rare, but it happens. I think one of the first Opcity leads that I had was a condo in San Jose that I sold. You know, I'm still in contact with those people. I have a referral to a gated community where they're building homes, and I'm working with that community's agent to make sure that I can, you know, get a piece of them when they go where they go. But, you know, basically what I found is this is realtors.com version of Zillow. Zillow makes you pay up front. Opcity is a back end. Zillow has people searching around and they click, hey, I want to see this, or hey, I want information on this. They will call you. You will get a live connect on Zillow. Same with Opcity. Opcity does a lot more background checking on them. Not necessarily checking, but they try and vet them a little. They ask them if they're working with an agent. They ask them if, you know, they've been pre-approved yet. They ask them, you know, what's the range you're looking at. They ask them, they try and get kind of a picture of them before they hand them to you. Then they call you up and they say, you know, well, you win it, and then you're connected and they call you and they say, hey, I have, you know, Sally on the line. She says she's not working with an agent. She's looking in the Campbell area and she wants to, you know, buy a condo and she's pre-approved. Great. Is this someone you can help? Yes, of course. Just take the lead. Even if it sounds crummy, they want to look at a mobile home. Take the lead. Fine. Learn a new type of house to sell. And then basically through that process, they connect you and then you're on the phone live with that person. Keep in mind that these leads are still from an internet clicking. I do find that the internet leads from Opcity are a little more serious because they're coming from realtor.com versus the looky-loos on Zillow. I don't know. I mean, I have my numbers at the end of the slide, and some Sometimes, you know, they break even between the two of them, but it's really interesting. I've only received seller leads from Opcity. I've never received a seller lead from Zillow. So something.
Did you want to hold this question now? or-
How do you get them to send more leads? I haven't gotten leads in 2 weeks, if not longer. I know you have to accept leads, but I don't always see them right away. And even when I open Opcity, as soon as I get the, yes, people, it is a game show, folks. You need to be paying attention to your phone. That
You're probably
is,
gonna go through that, right? On
yeah,
how it
I'm gonna go
works.
through
So
it.
let's-
It's, yeah, so we'll keep going. It's a game show. It's a speed game, 100%. And I'll go through it. So first you have to set it up though, right? So if you don't have Opcity at all on your phone or, you know, an account, you need to go to your leadership. They have a account through Opcity and a special link, which is what I think Elaine was talking about on the meeting just now. Once you get that, then you can click the link and download the app to your phone. You fill out the your personal information at the top. This information either should populate itself with your office information because you've used that link, or you may need to put it in there. But you do want to make sure that you put the office information is there because you're linked to that account, okay? It does ask you your years of experience. When I started, I mean, I put that in, and it just depends. They kind of changed the rules about 2 years later that you had to close something before you got more leads. And then I think that they reversed that at this point. It's really, really hard to get someone on the phone over there because they kind of screwed up one of my transactions a while back. And it was a struggle to get someone to respond to us. So basically, you either have to keep pinging them or you just have to figure it out. But yeah, so you just want to make sure you put all of your information in there. We can go to the next slide. Basically, here's what it does. It alerts you to the new referrals. You claim the referrals that you want. Just claim them all. Claim whatever you can get your hands on because the conversion rate is not as high as you think it is. Adjust your settings to get referrals you want. Pay attention to distance in served areas. I would not limit as a new agent. Like I wouldn't say, oh, I want $700,000 and over. No, don't do that. Take it down to 0. There's nothing under 300. Well, there's nothing under 200,000 in our valley. You'll get some mobile homes inquiries. I get a lot of mobile home inquiries, and a lot of those people I convert into condo buyers because apples to apples, when you look at space rent and you look at having to be approved by the park, you have to show 3 times your monthly housing payment, which is rent, or space rent, which is your mortgage payment on your mobile home. A lot of people who are looking at mobile homes who thinks that's all they can afford can't even really qualify with the park because they have to end up making $6,000 a month. So in that instance, that buyer is better off buying a single family home, well, a condo or a townhome basically, because they're buying personal property as a mobile home and you have to have a separate lender for a mobile home, a different kind of lender. But if you take them over to, you know, the residential side, you can in fact use, of course, your regular lender, but there are lots of programs for first-time home buyers. There's lots of programs where you can only put 3% or 5% down, and they don't have to prove their monthly income to even qualify for the park. So don't discount the mobile home leads because a lot of them just don't know. And once you educate them, you're able to convert them over into something that they're going to like better, that's financially a better decision, and that, you know, is typically a higher price point. Manager referrals, that's the mandatory weekly check-in. And then you track your performance and you make the Benjamins. Keep going. All right. So the binding contract part. So when you sign off with Opcity, you have an agent referral agreement. This agreement basically states, this is mine from way back when. I don't know if it's changed, honestly. I have to assume it's probably about the same. But it's a 24-month referral agreement. Therefore, if you start working with them, that's when they live connect you, that's when your 24 months start. Even if you change offices or brokerages, that clock is still ticking. It doesn't matter, it doesn't change, none of that. What I don't know is if you release them in Opcity, and I'll show you that later, if that restarts their 24 months. So I will caution you, only release the ones that you think are super duddy and not gonna do anything, okay? So you're gonna set up your account. So these are the screens that they will show you. Location, use your most frequent starting place. So I just used off the zip code. If you live in Santa Cruz, you know, and you are kind of in a niche where you think that you're kind of centrally located, use that. You don't have to use your office address. It's where you're starting from, basically, typically all the time when you want to go show property. Client types, I would take all of them except the lease and the other. I know our office, we're not allowed to lease properties because I'm not a property management. That's not my license. So you can talk to your broker and figure out if that's something that you can do. But I don't even want to fuss with it because then you just get a bunch of renter people calling you constantly and it's a lot of work. And then property types, just do all three. Don't get cranky. Don't, you know, sometimes we are showing land up in Boulder Creek and, you know, that's something, but every time you show a property, you learn something new. You'll learn that Santa Cruz County has a sewer lateral requirement. You'll learn that, you know, in San Mateo County, that the title fees and the escrow fees are, you know, paid by the buyer. So every time you do something new that you haven't done before, you learn something. So I encourage you to just try them all, just do it. The price range is what will impact how many leads you receive. So here, mine is set at 500, and this is the graph right here. So it's saying, maybe like, I don't know, what is that, like a quarter possibly? But if we take it down to 150, then we're up around 50%. And this is a better spot for you to be if you're starting out, because why not get more people? Why not get more people to talk to, more practice, more opportunities to convert those people into possibly a condo, or even just help them buy a mobile home. I've helped several people buy mobile homes, and every time I do it, I learn something new. It's nothing to be afraid of. We have some great experts in our office who sell a lot of mobile homes that are available to answer questions and help guide. So options, next. Okay, so then you get into preferences. So auto messaging, I personally do not use the app for text messaging. I feel that my text to the clients are my business, and I don't want them knowing my business. It feels icky to me. And I also want to have all of my text messages in one spot. I don't want to have to be going back to the app. Oh, I had a text over here and this and that. So I do have a software product on my phone that I use that at the end of my transaction, I can download my text messages into a PDF paper. So then I save that into my transaction to document the conversation, because most of these conversations, I get a live connect and then I just text because they're either working or they're busy or they don't want to be bothered because they have little kids. I just text. So it's a good thing to be able to keep your stuff in one spot. And when I name people in my phone on the top line, and when I put them in, I use that whole first name spot. I put their name, I put, maybe their last name, I put, their spouse's name in parentheses, and then I put Opcity, because I want to make sure I don't forget that they belong to Opcity, because if you hooch them and they find out, you're going to get cut off and blackballed, and it's not worth it. Just follow the rules. But if there's an error, you want to try and remedy that with the way that you manage your data. Okay. The mobile push chime alert, I turn that on. That's the little screen that comes up that says, hey, there's a new lead. Snooze, if you're not available, snooze it. So like if I didn't snooze it right now. If something comes through, I'm just gonna miss it. That will count against me because it says you weren't paying attention, you missed it. When I go on vacation, I turn it off, because a lot of the people who reach out to me want to they think they want to and see a house and buy it. They think they're ready to do that. A lot of them aren't ready to do that. But I've learned over the years that people click on something and they're like, oh, we want to see this house. Cool. Have you been pre-approved yet? Oh, no, we haven't started that yet. Well, here's the thing. This market is super competitive and we're moving really fast. And honestly, if we went and saw that house and you loved it, you'd probably miss out because you're not ready to go. We have to get you pre-approved first. So you can hit the ground running and have that document so that if you find the one you love, you can just make your offer and then get the house you love. I don't want to do that on vacation. I don't want to be calling my girlfriends and saying, hey, can you go show so-and-so? They think, they're insistent. No, I just snooze them. And then this is the test alert. So if you've all signed up and it's not working, hit the test alert, see what happens. I got a new car. So I was driving around yesterday. I had like MapQuest going up on my screen. I had Spotify going over here on the right side of it. And then I'm like, I wonder if these alerts would come through on the phone when all of this stuff is going on. I hit it and it did. There's a delay. And that delay would probably cost me the lead. But if I'm the only one paying attention in the valley, I would get it. So at least then I know it's coming through, right? Next. Okay, it's game show time. Keep those phones close. So I would say that when I was really like hungry for these Opcity leads, I would keep my phone awake. I wouldn't let it dim. I wouldn't let it sleep. There's a setting in there on your phone that says, go to sleep after 3 minutes, or go to sleep after 1 minute, or lock after 5 minutes. Just take it down to the bottom. Let it be alive as long as possible, because this is what you're going to see. Just this little window is going to come up. You're going to want to make sure that you set in your phone preferences that you're allowing notifications, because if that's something that isn't turned on, you will not get that, and that's a bummer. That's no fun. So you get the chime. I can't even remember. I haven't got one in such a long time. But you chime it and then you click it. And then once you click it, this screen comes up. Don't read it. Just hit it. Don't even bother. Just claim it. And then look at it. Then you claim the referral. Yeah, you win. Perfect. Now what? But just claim it. If you take time to like, where is it? Is it close to me? You're going to lose it, because there's probably 200 other agents looking at this same lead. It goes out to the masses and you're competing for it. It's a game show, fast. It's all about speed. It's a race. So don't try and read it. You know what your parameters are set. If you're saying, I want to stay within 10 miles, or I want to stay within 25 miles, just take claim. Just do it. Okay, next. All right. So here is the screen where you connect to the live buyer or seller. So I kind of explained how Opcity calls you and they say, you know, I have a buyer or seller on the phone, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times I do get people that say, I have a buyer on the phone and they may have a home to sell. Okay, great. Opcity does put in my portal that they do have a buyer and a seller lead for that person. So I do have to update both of those. But this is basically what I say. I say, hi, this is Cindy Selleos with Keller Williams Realty. While I look at this property, tell me about your home search. Are you just starting or have you been looking for a while? I've already looked up the house. I use my MLS Touch app, and basically as soon as I win the lead, it shows me the address. I go straight into my app, I type in the number and the first couple letters of the street and it comes right up. I look at it really quickly to see if there's any offer dates. I look to see how long it's been on the market. I look to see the price. And then I am looking up the property, so I'm not lying to them. I'm just making them talk to me a little bit first. You know, and they'll say, oh, you know, we just kind of started looking. We've been clicking around some stuff. Great. Tell me about what kind of you're looking for in a home. Are you looking for, you know, more of like a single family? Are you looking for a condo townhome? You know, just trying, this is the fact-finding mission. This is when you're trying to make that connection with them and get to know them and show them who you are. Show them your personality. Show them your enthusiasm. You know, is it just you? Is it you and a partner? I never say wife or husband anymore because I just don't. You know, do you have kids? Do you have pets? Because, you know, maybe you want a yard, maybe you need to be close to a school. Those are important things to find out when you get information from that potential client. So, you know, if they're just starting out, great. You know, have you seen any homes? Have you been going to open homes? Have you been seeing homes that haven't been on open homes? That'll ping if they say, oh yeah, we went and saw a home like last Wednesday. Really? How are they doing that? Well, they must have an agent letting them in. They can't just walk in themselves. You know, okay, you know, have you been working with a real estate agent to help you get into those homes? Well, there's two answers. Sometimes they say, well, we've just been using different agents. We click on a house and somebody shows us, and we click on a house and somebody showed us. Okay, well, let me tell you how I can benefit you. Because if you have the same agent showing you all of the houses that you're kind of interested in, that's only going to strengthen that agent's idea of what exactly you're looking for. And then they'll be able to help you narrow the search and possibly find something that's off market that you can't even see on the internet. Because as far as the MLS listings, there are members only listings. They do not go out to realtor.com. They do not go out on the internet. And only agents have the opportunity to see those. And so having a relationship with an agent is important because you get all of the information and sometimes get a jump on a house that may not be, you know, visible, but, you know, if you can get an early offer in, that's the goal, to win the house. And then I always ask, you know, have you finished up your pre-approval with your lender? Because we're dead in the water without a pre-approval letter. And I tell them that. I'm very straightforward with people. I'm very honest. I say, look, you know, I see that, you know, you're really trying to look at open homes and, you know, why haven't you done the check? Why haven't you gotten your pre-approval? Sometimes they say, oh, you know, I don't want the hard check on my credit. Well, my lenders explained to me that the hard check on your credit is really like 3 to 5 points, and you will actually get those points back in about a week and a half. So what I would suggest is going through that process, and you will be more able to be ready when we have to jump in and buy and make an offer to buy a home. Because if you wait, you're not going to be ready and you're going to miss out. And then you're sad. And I don't like to be the bearer of sad news. So get that pre-approval. If you need a great lender, I have one that I work with. I work with the lender broker, offer them, one of your service providers, create a relationship with the lender, create a relationship with the title rep so that you have those people in your team that you can refer, And if they're working with an agent, they say, oh yeah, we are working with an agent, it's a family friend, and okay, great. Agents have the inside information. My suggestion is to reach out to them. End of story. Agents need to know what you're interested in so they can help you find the perfect home. Don't waste your time. And, if someone has an agent that they're loyal to, then it's not worth the bad karma to try and poach the lender. I don't know what happened to my screen here. Focus on the folks that want to work with you, because there's some shady folks out there that will try and poach a client from another agent. It's not worth the karma. It's really not worth it. We try to be honest and trustworthy and good people at Keller Williams. So please don't do that, because the karma will bite you in the butt. Are there questions?
No,
Okay, good.
they just want to, if you want at the end, I could give them a copy of the slide.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
Okay, next. All right. So these are the responsibilities that you have to Opcity. It's my handy dandy chart. All right. So you receive the lead. So as soon as you get the live connect, they say, or you want to work with this person, you have a conversation. Oh, they want to see this property. They have their pre-approval letter. Great. You hang up the phone. Opcity says, hey, you got to update that lead. You change them to spoke. Okay. And then say, down the road, it's been a week. We didn't get to that house. They had to work. It sold out from underneath us, whatever. Update it again. You have to do it. If you don't update the leads, they will pause your leads. And if you go too long, they will say you're delinquent, and then it's not pretty. So don't do that. I've done that. It's not fun. If you end up going and either doing a buyer presentation with them or showing them property, you have to change them to Met. You want to change them to these statuses because those statuses up your quotient on the algorithm that gets you the leads. Okay, so here, offer accepted or rejected. There is a contract button in Opcity. You push, contract, and it'll say, was the contract, is it out on counter? There's like 4 choices. Is it out on counter? Was it accepted? Was it rejected? And you just type a little bit of words. You don't have to tell them a big old story about it. It's just their internal way to keep track of what you're doing, because they're trying to protect their lead referral fee, basically, is what they're trying to do. And then, so if you got rejected, 7 days more, you're gonna have to update it again, right? And then 7 days more. And then, okay, we're gonna do another offer. Now we got accepted. That's amazing. Perfect. So now we're in contract. And then, it's gonna ask you to enter the title, the lender information, the MLS, and our broker information. Because again, they're gonna communicate and want to see that information so that they get paid. All right. And then still, we keep updating every 7 days. And then when we close escrow, what Quan or Lindsay, or if you do your own transactions, need to happen, you need to send your KW W-9 for your first transaction only, typically, to Opcity, because they need to figure out which brokerage you're associated with. And then you need to send the closing packet to Opcity from the title company once it's received. Because what that's going to do is that's going to show them the sales price, and it's going to show them what percentage you got. They always assume we get 3, so it's never right. But it's going to show them your percentage, and then it's going to show the split of them taking their percentage and seeing what you get paid. So when Quan does your demand for the title company, he needs to know that you're paying Opcity. Because that needs to show up on that demand when it goes to title. Because that's the only way Opcity is gonna get paid. And if that gets missed, then you have to write Opcity a check and mail it. And your account will go delinquent, waiting for them to figure out if it's, you know, where the check is or not getting entered in. It's a big mess. They're not very responsive. But it's a nice system when it works. Okay, so we'll keep going. So every 7 days, you have to update the leads or they're going to pause. So your rating, which is what affects your lead getting, basically, your lead receiving, will up. And when you're in good standing, you will get more leads. So hold status. If they're not responding, then maybe after 7 texts, it always asks you when you go to put someone on hold, have you tried reaching out to them 7 times? And if you're reaching out to them every 7 days, it's like, okay, I've been reaching out to them for 2 months now, and they're still not responding. Then I put them on hold. You know, if I just keep sending stuff and they're not responding at all, I just put them on hold. If it's only been 2 months, I put them on hold for 1 month. I give them a little break. And I ping them again. But if you put them on hold for 1 month, when they come off hold, when they're reactivated, the system will tell you. And they'll say, hey, pay attention, you need to update this lead. And then I go and I say, oh yeah, Jennifer Yang reactivated. So then I go into my text stream and I just type in the search bar, Jennifer Yang, and her text stream comes up. And then I say, hey, touching base. Haven't chatted with you for a while, wanted to let you know, give them something of value, wanted to let you know the interest rates are still holding. You know, there is a few more homes coming on the market. It is still low inventory, but I've seen some really nice stuff in your price point. And just be genuine, don't be snarky, basic, you know, niceness. So you can release a client. If they are verbally abusive, release them. You don't want any part of that. If they just are like, it was a mistake, I screwed up, release them. If they happen to call back and like maybe you've communicated with them for a year and they haven't responded, and I've done this for a year and they haven't responded, I release them. Then they go back on realtor.com and they click something. Realtor.com calls me and says, hey, so-and-so, you know, has inquired about a property. Do you want to work with them? If they're not nasty, sure. Yeah. I remember them. Yeah, I'll totally chat with them. Let me see how I can help them. But it's your choice. So that's the difference between release and hold. Hold, they're still in your database. Release, they've gone, you won't even see them anymore in your reactivating and whatnot. But again, I don't know the rules with release and how it affects that 24 months. So I don't release anyone unless it's super serious. Like I'm just giving up on them basically.
Or maybe they ask for it.
Maybe they ask for it, exactly. Or maybe like I have a gal who wants to buy a house in Campbell. She has to be in Campbell. She wants to pay $800,000. That's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. She thinks it's going to happen. I tell all my buyers, stop looking in the gravel for diamonds. There are no diamonds in the gravel. Just stop. So I know she's unrealistic and she's very dug in and she's very, very consistently telling me, I don't want a condo. I don't want a town. I don't want this. I don't want that. Well, just release her. Just be done with it. Wash your hands. Don't waste your time. Then, and that's the last part is I always just put them on hold. I can put them on hold for 1 to 2 to 3 months and just check in when they come back off hold. Sometimes they say, oh, you know what, we're going to be thinking about this in June. I ping them in April, 2 months earlier, because when they think they're going to be ready in June, they're already going to be like in a new house. They always overestimate when they're gonna be ready. So I always dial it back like a bit, just to make sure that if they have questions, and I just, text them and I say, hey, I know we're coming up on when you thought you might be ready to make that move, how's the credit going, or how's the job situation, and I have their whole string of texts in my phone. I never delete them until the end of the transaction. And then I save them to PDF, and then I delete them off my phone. So here you can see, those are my active referrals. I mean, from maybe a long time ago, I can't even tell you. Yang Jennifer, she actually, my update was overdue. She reactivated. But it's funny because her dot is blue. Blue means pay attention. When it goes red, it's like, we mean business. So there's my listing from last year and my sale. So Ken, he had the selling, he wanted to sell his house, but he also wanted to buy a house. So we did that. We did both of those things. And then some of them are just overdue because it's just been time and it's their 7 days are up. So I try to, when I get like 14 that I have to update at once, I try to update like 5 and then I let them sit until the next day. As long as they're not going to make me delinquent and it's not going to turn it off, I just try and stagger them a little bit. Otherwise, it feels really tedious. I will tell you that I timed myself the other day because I've been complaining about this to my coach. And they told me that just time it, see how long it takes you. It literally takes me about a minute 10 to shoot a text off to someone and update the lead and hit and be done with them. So if I have 10 minutes, I can do 10 Opcity overdue things. It's not, it doesn't, and in Opcity, I just wrote sent message. I don't write a whole big blurb. You don't have to be that explicit. Sent message, watching updates, watching market. That's all I put in there. I don't spend a lot of time in there because no, I don't think anybody reads it. Just down and dirty, quick, dirty little things just to turn it off, but you do need to ping your client because you want to make sure you're top of mind with them. Okay. Do you ever sign a buyer rep agreement? They have a policy like this on Redfin. You know what? I have never had good luck with a buyer rep agreement. I don't know what they do on Redfin. I've never explored that. I've tried to use it in the past and it hasn't been received well because of course they come from the internet and they're like freewheeling on the internet. They have all the power. I want to do this, or I want to click over here, or I'm going to go over to Zillow and click on some stuff and then they'll get connected to somebody else. So I just try and build a relationship with them and show them what I can bring to the table, why they want to have a relationship with me, why they want to work with me, and what I can do for them. Basically, that's all they want to know, what I can do for them. You know, my value proposition is, how I'm able to get my buyers, offer some attention with the listing agent. I create a really great relationship with the listing agents and they fight for me and my offers. So that's something that I share. Buyers. Killing their siblings.
What else do we need to know as far as how to use it or? Next grade though.
Yeah,
I think we know how to use it.
he's trying to mute it at this point.
Then how fast after a transaction do you usually get paid? But this isn't the same as what we get now. Oh, it's the same, okay.
Can y'all mute yourselves? Trying to mute everybody.
Okay, we're gonna mute all.
George, can you mute yourself?
there a mute all button?
Um,
All the way on the left?
I think he did it. All right,
all
all right.
Yeah.
So let's go back. I can't remember where we were. All right, so keep going. All right, so basically, I just had a question about when do you get paid for the Opcity leads? Well, because of the way it's structured and it's on your demand, the title company mails their check to Opcity. You get your split after you pay your royalties or you pay your office stuff, basically, and you get whatever's left, and that comes back in a check and goes to Quan, he logs it in, and then you get your check. So it's usually about 24 hours. But the nice part is you just want to make sure that it's on your demand, because then the title company manages it. They print the check, they mail it. It's perfect. Part of that is adding it into command, and I do go into this a little bit, just that helps Quan to make sure it's on your demand. But it's a numbers game. So these are my numbers as of, I think, yesterday. So there's been 837 that I haven't paid attention to. And I missed out on 149. The 149 numbers are the ones that I have not snoozed myself on, or that I just missed because I wasn't fast enough. And then I've won 202, okay? That's 8%, 8%. So for free leads, I mean, 8% is great, but they're internet leads. It's a numbers game. What this is, I would say, more of a tool to help you get good skills on following up, get your skills honed, or your scripts and your, the way that you communicate, feel confident. And then if you can convert some of them, you get paid, bonus. But most of them are kind of flaky. I'm just gonna level with you. And I mean, 92% of them are flaky. But some of them that I've nurtured and nurtured and nurtured for, 3 years now are starting to come around. So if you keep those relationships going and it goes past the 24 months, you don't owe Opcity anything. So their 35 goes into the wind, okay? 35% is a high amount for a referral fee. I think industry standard is 25%. But 35% of zero is zero. So if you don't try, you won't get any. But if you do try and you happen to get something, not only are you gaining all these skills and confidence, but you're also getting paid. Okay.
Question, I look into their CRM or API integration, or know how anyone could use it successfully.
I don't use their CRM because I don't feel like I want them controlling my data. That's why I don't use their text string. I don't want them spying on me, because the agreement that I have with Opcity is that if I sell them something, then I give Opcity money. Now, if they get referred to another region, I don't feel like that is infringing on that agreement. That's the way I read it. You have to read it and you have to feel the way you feel about it. But
I guess they meant by submitting their data into your own CRM via API.
oh, yeah, I don't do that. I just enter them in. I mean, you get the leads one at a time and you don't get them very often. So I just copy the email address and I make a contact, and then that just uploads into command through the API Nation or through, there's another one, I think, I can't think of it. That kind of pulls from your Gmail contacts into, command. So that's the way I do it. I don't download it because it's one at a time and it's few and far between. So the leads are sent out to many agents at once. Your score will affect your spot in line for referrals. You have to be fast, you have to be thoughtful, and you have to be honest and meet those clients and sell them their dream house. So there are some things that you can control. You can control your updating status. You can control your referrals and contacting them. You can control the claiming of the leads. There are some other things, the achievements in the app, like if you watch a quick video, you get a few more points. These are all of the things that help indicate your lead score, your Opcity score, closing deals. So out of 57 METs, I closed 16. That's better than 8%, but I didn't do that math. So I don't know, what is that, like 22% maybe? That's pretty good conversion. Meeting clients, 1 out of 1 met in the first 2 weeks. So it just, a lot of times they say that they're ready to go, but they're not. I'm not going to show them a bunch of homes if they're not pre-approved. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste theirs. I don't want to make them sad when they find the one they love and they miss out because they're not ready. So I really try and steer them to get pre-approved. Updating your status weekly, 61%, you know, that's better than 82% of Opcity agents. They're telling me 62% is fantastic, which is really scary because I think that's like an F, right? I mean, that's bad. But even with the new grading at Branham, where, you know, 80% is an A, that's still really bad. I mean, I'm bad. I mean, it goes delinquent sometimes and it just gets away from me. But because I've done so well with them, they just turn it back on. So, but you don't want to get blackballed. You want to make sure that they're engaging with you and, you know, keeping up. So contact referrals. So this one is 0 because I don't use their app. They want me to use their app and I do not want to. They can just, no. And then claiming leads, 14% attempted to claim. That's better than 49% of the agents. Keep up the good work. 14%. So that's where it comes in, that when you're sitting at your desk, when you're driving your car, I have noticed that if you have your MapQuest going in your phone while you're driving, it won't interrupt that because it doesn't want you, because it thinks you're driving. So it doesn't want you to get distracted. So if I know where I'm going, I don't map it. And then I just keep my phone there. I've set it to stay awake. Do-do-do, I hear it, click, click, click. You have to be on it. You have to be fast. So keep going, we're almost done.
One more check. Does we require a face-to-face or Zoom meeting counts too?
I would say that I mean, it's subjective. I would say that if you feel like you met them on a Zoom and maybe you went over the contract, but typically a meet would be like you've met them in person because of course you're going to show them a house. That's usually what they want to do. I don't find that a lot of people who come from the internet want to buyer presentation. They just want to get right to it. And then basically I buyer presentation them through the first walkthrough of the house and, you know, through the texting back and forth, covering the questions, covering the information. I do know some agents that when you write that first contract, they throw that buyer broker agreement at the back and get it signed. And when you go over the contract with them over Zoom, you go over the contract and all the terms, you go over, you know, the Privacy Act, you go over the agency and the wire fraud, and then you just kind of skim right over and, you know, our broker, you know, requires this form to, or suggests that we use this form, or this concretes our relationship, you know, so if you don't get this, we can keep going. They're not really going to balk at that point because they're so excited about writing the offer, they'll sign it. I've never had anybody sign it and then not get the house. I've been really lucky, and then have to like navigate how that looks after the fact. But that is one way that I've heard that people do it. So this is how you get paid in command. When you do your commission demand, this is what it, and if you use Lindsay, she'll do all this, but you have to make sure you tell her it comes from Opcity. I do my own, I was a TC for 13 years, so I just do it. Lindsay's great, but I just do it. So you have to choose outside referral. You are adding an item to your commission demand. So outside referral, use the 35%, it'll do the math. Use the EIN, which is the other option is like social security number. So that's not what that is. That's the tax ID number. This is on their website. This is Opcity's W-9. This is that number, that employee identification number. Then they're going to want you to put the address in. It's Department 2570. It's not going to like it. It never likes it. It doesn't remember it. I don't know why. But you have to just start typing it in and it'll say, is it this? Is it that? No, it's not any of those. Eventually you get to the create manually. And then you type it all in and submit. Do not hit add because it'll start over and it'll wipe it all out. Hit submit. And then it'll take you back to the screen and you can add the rest of the information. So after you've done this, you will see that like there's the split up at the top. These are the things that are getting talked about with the IALC, you know, that deduction that's going to default at $10 per, that you will be able to opt out of, that I have to vote on later today. But so this would be my net to agent. But this is before I put the Opcity in. Now I have my outside referral and they're taking, you know, some of my money, which happens, but I'm still getting $6,200, which is not bad. And if you're a new agent, that's like 3 months worth of rent and a trip to Safeway. So it's not a waste of time. It's really, if you use it like a tool, it's an amazing tool. If you use it as your sole way to get business and money, you're not going to be eating anything but ramen for a good long time because it's a numbers game. We can go to the next one. Okay. Right. So yeah, so Bold is saying that, you know, if you have a Zoom call, that it is considered a met. It's your personal choice. If you feel like you met them, had a connection with them, there's no grading curve. They're not gonna like call the client and say, hey, did you meet with Rachna? They're not gonna care. It's just their way of tracking your progress with that client. If you feel like you had a intelligent, you know, one-on-one with them that wasn't, say, on the phone and you saw their face, call it a met. I'm fine with that.
And another thing she said was that you don't use Opcity for text. You do your own. You send it to them directly.
I keep it in, yeah, because they give me like a text number and I just don't feel like that's a safe idea. I mean, at Keller Williams, I know all of our data is secure. Keller Williams isn't going to sell our data out of command. So I'm very confident in that respect, but I don't know about realtor.com. So I text outside because then I can find it easily. If I don't have a ton of internet, you know, it's not going to inhibit the app from opening because it's just in messages. It's a quicker system. So my personal stats, again, up there, my Met clients, I was pretty close to my math, 27.6%. I've closed, you know, 7.4%. Average click time, you know, 23.5 seconds. That's nationwide. So I found that, I mean, even if I think I'm fast, I lose out. I mean, you have to be paying attention. This is our brokerage and how many people have been successful using Opcity. And, you know, it is possible. It's out there. You just have to really try. I would say it's a great opportunity. So, you know, 35 sucks. I get it. It sucks. But, you know, you get their skills, money, and clients to be learned, earned, and nurtured. And even if they don't buy right now, maybe they buy down the road. And if they don't buy right now, you know what, maybe in the meantime, their sister's looking and you get a referral from them. Their sister's not Opcity, you get all their money. So keep in mind that it's not just that one person you're talking to. You're talking to that one person's sphere of influence if you treat them like a gold client, basically. Then I think that might be the end. Yeah. And then I think the last one has my contact information on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions or comments, shoot them off now. My information's up there. Don't try to call me, just text me, because that's how I do a lot of my stuff.
I'm gonna put the link for your, for these slides in the chat.
Okay.
Is that okay for you?
Yeah, I feel like I want to fix one of them, because it overlapped with the MLS touch one, so I want to fix it.
Okay.
It didn't look right. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so. Does anybody have any questions or anything? I think I tried to cover them as we were going. How many people do we have? 19. Wow. Wow. And I see Shirley, and I see Heidi, and I see Viviana. I feel like Miss Nancy. This is so fun. I don't see anyone. Where are the faces? Come on, folks. Oh, I see Dipsy. Look, and Julie. Oh,
We
there
have
they
some of
are.
our agents
There's
here.
Dimitri.
There, now I'm not muted.
Rachna. Nice. There's Helly and Julie. See, and Rebecca. See, it's like Miss Nancy. I love that.
We have some of our agents too here from Gateway. We have
Nice.
here. I see here Yoda. I see Donald. I see Sarah. So and Nadine. So glad to see we have, from our, our offices, everyone participating.
And it's a numbers game, folks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not just free money. I mean, you work for it. But I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
You just have to tap into it. You have to be attentive. You have to be fast. Fast is the key.
And then Rachna said, can you share what you say to people when they're not responding week after week?
So, okay, so week after week, I just, I text them, I try and give them something of value. If, I've put them on hold for 3 months, say, maybe I send them an emoji, like I have those ones that have my picture, how they put, I don't know what those, the GIF emoji, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like, maybe it's Valentine's Day and I send a GIF emoji that, I don't know if that's what it's called, but the one where like, it's my cartoon character in a big heart, and I say, happy Valentine's Day, I'm checking in to make sure everybody's healthy and safe, or, oh my gosh, the COVID's finally letting up, do you have any fun plans, or, what the kids are gonna get out of school, like, so as soon as you start collecting information on these people, put it in the notes in their contacts, because that's the best way to find it quick and dirty on your phone. You can just click the top of the text contact, click info, and you will see all of the notes that you've put in there. How many kids do they have? Do they have a dog? If they have kids in school, you know what? Hey, do you have any fun summer plans? I cannot wait to get out of this house. It's very similar to what you talk to people about that you're friends with. You're trying to engage them and pull them back. I have used one time, if it's been months and months and months and nobody's responded, I have used, and I know Heidi's done this too, hey, are you okay? And then they respond back and they're like, oh yeah, I'm okay. Oh, good. You're usually super great about responding to people, and I just haven't seen anything. I sent a message and I didn't get a response. I just want to make sure you guys are okay. Oh yeah, we've been super busy. We've got a job transfer, blah, blah. Really? Oh my gosh. So where are you working now? Just start that conversation. Just get them engaging with you so that you can loop them back to real estate.
Okay, and then also too here, will they start saying leads again, because I haven't gotten any in a while, or does she need to is there a way that she needs to, she's from our office here, Does she need to like resubmit or something if she hasn't gotten leads or?
You haven't got any notifications, so if you haven't got any
Or any
notifications,
leads?
you can try and ping them. You shouldn't have to restart it. Has anyone from this office with your new link received any leads? That's the question, because you want to make sure that your account is active.
So I did the test thing and it sent me something, but I haven't actually gotten a notification in.
Okay, so it could be that, is anyone else on the call from this office, from
We
Gateway,
have the deed.
that has received or hasn't received a notification? I know they're a little slower at the beginning because the algorithm doesn't trust you because it doesn't know you. So you just have to really be paying attention, and that's how you keep
I guess.
them engaged.
Don't-
Oh, so, okay, so Donald has received a lead. That's perfect. So we know that the link
Mhm.
that Opcity has sent to Gateway
Right.
is functioning.
Yes.
So I would say, so Sarah, you're brand new, honey, so it's gonna take a minute. They're typically, you can open up the app and look at how many you've missed, because that'll tell you how many have come through that you just haven't seen. Maybe you need to check your settings in your phone for notifications for the Opcity app. Is it a badge? Is it a banner? Is it an instant? Does it stay? You want to make sure that you check all
I
those.
used to, Sarah used to get leads, but now.
Now I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have any people, you can just talk, Sarah. Do you have any people that you're updating on a regular basis still in the portal?
Sarah?
Sarah?
Maybe she's typing up.
Maybe. No. Okay. So that could be it. Maybe you have people on hold and you could go and pull them out of hold. Or because that will show that you're engaging with these people. If you release a lot of people, the algorithm feels you're too picky. So again, that's why I don't release anyone. Take the lead, put them on hold if they're ridiculous, whatever. But it's a computer. So what you're doing impacts what it thinks you want. Just like Google tries to figure out what you want and sends you, shoe ads on Facebook when you were over here searching on Amazon. for
Chris is
shoes.
right there. This offer's due at 1. He just decided 10 minutes ago.
Oh, Shirley's on mute.
Oh.
Cindy, this is Rob with you. Can I jump in real quick?
Sure you can.
So one of the, and you kind of were talking about it, but your score affects the number of leads you're going to get as well. So I don't know if somebody's score is low, you're not going to get that many leads. And then you have to kind of figure out why your score is low, like mine is right now.
So what is your score right now?
It's 87, which looking at it doesn't make sense because basically I had a lead for like 3 months and she was engaging at first, and then she just went MIA like before at the beginning of December. I started reaching out to her again early. Well, actually, she said she wanted to wait, and I reached out to her beginning of January. I've been reaching out, nothing. She literally re-engaged, and I finally met her last Saturday, and so she became a Met. Score jumped way up, and then today it went way down again. And nothing else has changed. I don't know why my score went down, but anyway, I do know if your score goes low, you're not going to get leads. The other thing to check is, other thing is if your dollar amount is too high, to your early point of you need to be at 0. If you're up in 500K range or above, you're not going to get leads unless you have a super high score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I actually won a commercial lead 2 or 3 years ago, and it said like $4 million, and I'm like, oh heck yeah! So it's a great time during dinner, first thing in the morning, pay attention to your phone because that's when they're out looking and nobody else is paying attention because they're eating dinner, having coffee, going to breakfast, driving in the car to the office.
The other
But
thing,
yeah, I mean, they come through at wacky times, but I
Yeah,
mean,
they
that
do.
did never go anywhere, but,
I mean-
and most of them don't, but they do go underground for a while because it's overwhelming, it's sticker shock. So
Yeah.
our market is very expensive, we move very quickly, they have to have their head wrapped around the idea to do it. And when they're ready to pull the trigger, they have to be okay with it. So,
the other thing I'll emphasize to people who haven't done this yet, claiming leads, when Cindy says you have to be quick, you're talking seconds. And
you're talking fractions of seconds.
the higher the dollar amount, literally, if you don't get it in 2 seconds, 3 seconds at the most, you can lose out.
You do. And I even miss out sometimes. And I'm literally staring at my phone and I go click. And sometimes they changed the phone system actually. And I complained because I'm like, you're putting me at a disadvantage because something with the iOS on my Apple phone was conflicting with the way that Opcity was sending them out. So they changed that. And I mean, I think enough people complained that they figured out how to remedy that to even the playing field. So it is definitely, I mean, it's tough. And sometimes your phone is just chokes and you're like, oh heck, but it is what it is. It's like playing roulette in Vegas.
Yeah.
You win or you lose, that's it. So, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity. I think you guys should all try it. I would try it for, set a goal for 6 months, and see if you get any leads, see if you don't get any leads. I think you can up your score if you go into like those, watch the video and learn about how Opcity works. I think that'll help boost your score as well. And you would have then a little nudge up and they'll see that you're engaging in the platform. And then that will probably help you get more leads as well.
So just to give you guys an example, I just got a lead, 2 seconds, I missed it. It was only a $400,000 lead and I missed it in 2 seconds.
And there are leads for $80,000. There are land leads up in the mountains, but there are leads for $80,000, for $20,000. So if you put it down to 0, all you have to do is close one thing and that's gonna like boost your score way up. So, and in the process, you get to learn about maybe what land is about, and pick the brains of some of those listing agents and tell them, hey, and just be honest. Don't try and shade people. Just, I'm a brand new agent and, anything you can help me with, I would really appreciate it. Agents who have been doing this a long time love to feel like they can teach you something. Just use it and say, you know what? I'm not sure how to do this. I've never done this before. Can you help me? And if they're like snotty about it, come back to your office, talk to your broker. Your broker can point you to someone in the office who can help you, who's done this before many times. And, we're all about helping each other here. So you'll get the information that you need, but start with that listing agent. They're not the enemy. They're there as a resource. So use them. So I think that's all the questions. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Do you have any tips? Oh, hold on here. I'll make myself active. Hi, Cindy. Great job. Hey, do you have any tips and tricks for when people do? You talked about when they just kind of go MIA, but how do you you had said that you had one client that is just set on a certain number and you are basically, you just kind of at some point just ditched because, they weren't being realistic. But for the most part, that's not what you do because you are really good at convincing people So what do you normally say to try to move them along in the process, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, so, and I actually haven't released that 800,000 house lady. To be honest, I haven't released her.
Okay.
But I keep sending her condos and townhomes that are in her price range.
Mhm.
Because I'm hoping and praying that she will get it. I'm not giving up on her. I still want to be the name that she knows when real estate comes to her head. And I'm not giving up. It's tenacity. You have to be persistent. You have to keep on them because they're not going to remember you. You need to remember them. As far as telling them how to, like, you know, fish or cut bait, basically, I mean, I go into, you know, well, it sucks when you're paying, you know, you're just putting your money into the renter's toilet because that's where it's going. You're paying your landlord's mortgage instead of putting your rent money into your equity savings account. Imagine if you were paying money every month and it was still your money. And that money was going to grow and expand at a rate that would exceed most mutual funds over the same amount of time. Why would you not do that?
Mhm.
And you can paint your walls purple. You can do whatever you want. Why would you not do that? It doesn't make any sense. Financially, it doesn't make any sense. You get a tax break when you buy a house. You get, you know, if you buy points down, I am not a tax person. I do not even pretend to play a tax person on TV, but I do know when I bought my house 2 years ago, that when I bought points down, that was a direct 100% write-off on my taxes. If you pay 17 grand in points, you write off 17 grand in taxes. And that helps offset those capital gains when they have to liquidate those stocks. Because that's what most folks do around here. They liquidate their 401k or they cash out on their stocks. But they're going to get hit hard on capital gains. So, you know, and a lot of people think, oh, I'll just take a little from here and a little from here. And then they find out, I don't really love that price point. I'll just take more out. It's just kind of like an evolution of figuring out what's going to motivate each person and what's going to keep them on the trajectory of, you know, finding what they want. Sometimes they really feel like this is what they want. Sometimes I show them something out of the range, or I don't actually show them. Don't even get me wrong. I don't show people like 20 houses. Show them like 6 max. I'm not doing that. I don't got no time for that. So what I do is I set them up on the MLS thing, their search. And then I get the email and I open it and I go, all right, this house doesn't look too bad. I click it, brings it, and I do all this on my phone. I'm hardly ever on my computer. So I click it on my phone and I look at it and I go, you know, that actually ticks all their boxes. I scroll back up to the top with the house picture, with the price, with the address. I screenshot it, I text it to them. And I say, this actually looks like it really fits what you're looking for. It's in your email. You should check it because if this really is something that you love, we need to move fast. So you need to express that urgency to them. You need to help them understand that you're on their side. You're their resource for this information, and you can help them to find what they want. A lot of those homes that come through on those client MLS searches are members only. There are things that they can't find anywhere because they're not online. So that's also that value proposition to help them recognize that you're an asset. You know, and at some point they decide what they want to do and you just kind of guide and nurture. And, you know, sometimes you're just like, I mean, I have hard conversations. We come to Jesus sometimes and say, look, I know this is what you really want, but here's the thing. I've found in my experience that buyers have to compromise on one thing. Always one thing. Out of 3, never have I had a buyer that has not compromised on one thing. Those 3 things are price. We don't have Bill Gates money. You have a finite, you do not have an infinite amount of money. You have a number. Type of house. So you're either gonna, if you can't afford a single family, maybe you get a townhouse, or maybe you get a single family that's a duet house, or maybe you get a single family that's in a community that has a little baby HOA, but that's gonna help you to get what more you want. And then the third thing is location. I find a lot of people, a lot of buyers insist on, oh, that's too much of a commute. Well, okay, let me draw a circle around what your commute, that your preferred commute is, and let's check those prices. Is that in your range? I mean, that's the hard part. So you, at that point, you're either going to negotiate on location or type of house. Because if all the houses are out of their range in that zone, you could say, all right, you want to live in that zone? Great. Let's look at townhomes and condos. No, we don't want to do that. All right, well then what's the option? Well, we're gonna have to probably go out a little further. I'm like, yeah. You know, there's some really beautiful homes in South Valley. Those homes were like, you know, super cheap a few years ago, and they are coming up. Everything appreciates. And you just want to show them the value, you know, look at what you can get for your money out here. You know, you could go to Los Banos and own a big mansion, you know, but that drive is going to kill you and you're going to hate your life. So I do try and keep the drive and the commute in mind when I'm trying to steer them. But I mean, they have to come to it on their own. I mean, I can tell them till I'm blue in the face, but ultimately they have to come to it, and we just talk about it. Well, what should we do, right? Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
Yes. Wait, I have two other quick things. What do you say to them that regard having any contingencies or the possible not contingencies? And also, what do you say when everything that we're looking at, you know, it's priced low, everybody's so low and afford it, when you're looking at it going, there's just no way this is going to sell for that, but they think that that's what they can afford because that's what the list price is. So those two things, the contingent.
Those bastard listing agents that price their houses 200 under market, yeah, those guys, they kill me. So I mean, I try and have a frank conversation with them and say, you know, based on what the market is doing right now, everything is going over. It's kind of balls to the wall, honestly, when we make an offer on a house. You can pretty much guarantee single family homes are going to go over anywhere from 150 to 350, and townhomes, you know, and condos, just depending on where they are, may go up anywhere from 25 to 80. Just to give them an idea of what the market is doing. That alone puts urgency in their heart, because then they're realizing, well, they're going over so much now, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? As far as the contingencies, I mean, I'm just honest with them. I say, look, you know, we get disclosures up front from the listing agent and from the seller. We get typically, you know, the property, the pests, the termites, we sometimes get a roof, sometimes we get a chimney, we get the HOA docs, and we get all the seller's disclosures. Now, you're going to look at them and I'm going to look at them, and we're going to decide, you know, if there's any red flags that need to be addressed. I will tell you that offers that are getting accepted these days are non-contingent. That's the hard truth. That's just what it is. Out of 10 offers on the last house that we got the win on, there were 8 that were non-contingent. So that's telling me that we can't, I mean, if you want to be competitive, you can't go in with no contingencies. With that being said, we need to review everything that's available. And if there's something missing, I can't advise you to move forward on this house without, say, a property inspection. Because that's just, it's, you just don't know. There's a lot of things under property inspection that can be really expensive. Foundation, it could be lots of things. You don't want to just tell people that. I will, however, tell you that we did offer on a condo that didn't have their HOA docs. They had ordered them, and the listing agent dropped the ball and didn't have the condo docs ready when they went on the market. And initially they said, we're gonna wait for the docs. First we had to wait for the offers to get the disclosures. And then we had to wait for the docs. But then they said, you know what, we're just gonna take offers. And if you want to take an off, if you want to send an offer in, you know, and put a couple days in for HOA docs, great. So I think that they got 8 or 10 offers. And I think, I want to say most of them were non-contingent. But the reason that I won was because I went on the MLS and found an old packet. I reached out to those agents who had sold those in that complex the year prior. And I said, hey, look, here's the situation. I need some financials. I need to figure out what's going on with this complex. I can't advise my client to buy something that we don't have that information. And they know the drill. They know that's important. So I think I reached out to 8 people, and 3 people pinged me back, and one of them sent her entire package. And when I sent my offer to the listing agent, I specifically said, we have reviewed the disclosures. We have reviewed the HOA documents. I sourced them from a previous sale. Here's the financials that we reviewed for this complex. And I attached them. And that went a long way, because that was showing the listing agent that I'm doing due diligence for my clients, and that I'm not just some, let's just write it up and throw, you know, caution to the wind for my clients. I can't do that. Right? Mike would kill me. It was not okay. So to protect them, you have to do everything you can. And sometimes those little things that you're doing in the background help them in the end. So I would always suggest to go ahead and source anything that you can source. I mean, of course, you can't source actual seller disclosures, but HOA docs, you can usually find someone who's got something, whether it's in their broker's file or in their computer, or sometimes their link is still active and I just click them and download them. So there's lots of options. So I think, yeah, I think that the recording will be available. Is there an agent tier type system based off Opcity? I hear Granite in the background.
Ouch, I'm not mute.
No. So as far as Opcity goes, there you are. I don't think there's a tier system. I think what it does is it's just the algorithm. It takes into account all of those points, and it figures out your ranking within the system based on your score, based on, you know, if you've watched some of those videos or not, based on your attentiveness to attempt to win the leads, based on if you've actually won some leads, you know, based on how frequently you're updating your people. And again, you don't have to put a bunch of crap in there. Just write, you know, watching the market, send, you know, but ping them, ping the people. Just say, hey, you know, I saw this great house, or I've seen some stuff coming on the market lately that fits your criteria. Have you thought about your timeline? Or just, you know, keep them engaged. Oh, I have a, that makes sense. Okay, so I don't know what that question was at the top that I can't see because I don't have control of it. Who was that? Do we know? Did anybody read that? This one up at the top? Now I don't. No, I don't. I have suspected a hairline fracture. I can't talk. Do we know what that says?
That's Sarah Kit.
Oh, that's Sarah. Okay.
So that's why she couldn't come and talk at that point
Okay.
of time when you guys were asking.
Oh, when we were saying, hey, talk to us. Got it. Okay. So, yeah, so I mean, I would say that just try and keep people on the app, keep them, engaged, just keep pinging them. I mean, I have people in my phone. I mean, it's funny because my ex-husband is my tech person, and I'm like, my phone is choking and it's having problems. And he goes in and he looks at the memory on my phone and he's like, well, you got like 87% of your phone is taken up by messages. You should delete some of those. I'm like, oh no, I'm not deleting those. We'll delete photos of my kids because I can't delete these messages because that's my business. I need to see, okay, the last time they said something, what was it? And I scroll it. Oh, it said that, we're thinking about maybe changing jobs. Then I ask them down here, okay, hey, did you ever change jobs? I remember you saying something about that. But if you delete your text, it's gone. That information is gone. So I think we're pretty much done and wrapped up. God, it's
Cindy?
12 o'clock. Holy moly.
Cindy, can I ask one last question of you?
Sure thing.
So when a lead comes through, you can either attempt to get it, or you can decline it. And I used to think that if I declined them, that it would go against me. And then I read somewhere, I'm pretty certain I read that if you don't want the lead, that you should decline it. Do you know which method is better, if one of them is or not?
Well, yeah, it's like a skip or something like that, right? Skip
Right.
I mean, sometimes if I get to it and I don't win it, or if I get to it and it looks like super sketch, I mean, I'll hit skip, but I typically encourage people just try and win them. Don't waste your time, because if you're considering pushing skip, you've already spent 2 seconds reading what the lead says and looking at the map, and your brain is trying to process it as fast as possible, but you're not going to beat whoever it is who just says, I want it. And then if you decide after you read all that, oh, that might be somebody I want, you're kind of hooched because they're gone, right? I would just take every single one of them, because that's only going to help the system understand that you're ready, willing, and able to help a buyer or a seller in their portal. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it does.
I would never skip them.
I've gotten an ungodly amount in the like 200,000 range.
Well, and if you don't want to work those up your number, but I tell you that those 200,000s or those are mobile homes or their land. So the mobile homes, those are solid condo buyers.
And I have to admit, I didn't think about it that way until you mentioned it. So
because once they figure out that they have to pay in Sunnyvale $1,800 a month on top of their mobile home loan interest is like anywhere from 9 to 15%. The interest loan period is usually 15 years. Sometimes you can get a mobile home loan for 20 years. So that mortgage payment is going to be, even though it's such a low amount of money, that mortgage payment could be $1,000 a month. So if their mortgage payment's $1,000 a month, and say their space rent is $1,500, that's $2,500 a month. Times 3 is what? Where's my math people? What is that? $7,500 that they have to show as income in a month. Now, if someone's looking at a $200,000 house, do you think that they're bringing in $7,000 a month? Because they won't even get approved by the park for if they don't make $7,500 a month. They'll get rejected right off the bat. They'll cancel the contract, even if you win it. So the way that's how I vet those people is I say, okay, well, you're not owning the house. This is considered personal property. And you have to use a special bank for that, because The regular banks, the big box banks, they loan on, you know, the land and the structure, whereas this is just the structure. So I go into the whole spiel, that's where I start. I don't even talk about visiting the house because half the time they think it's a house because it's the diamond in the gravel. Oh, we found a house for 320,000. We're gonna buy that. Sure you are. But here's the caveat. This is what's going on. The pictures are very deceiving. People don't understand. So I always just start with that. And then I say, so here's the thing. If you're gonna have a $2,500 payment, you know, just to live in a mobile home in a park where you have to come up with $1,800 or $1,500 a month just to pay rent, why wouldn't you see if we could get a first-time homeowner loan with a lower down payment, because I know you don't have a ton saved, but your monthly HOA dues might only be like $200 or $300, maybe $400. And then there's no qualifying with the park. Maybe we should look at something like that. And I reverse engineer it in my title app that I use to figure out, you know, you're going to put X down and you're going to do, and it even does FHA loans. And it tells you, you know, if you're putting 3% down or 5% down, what that would look like monthly. And it's not going to be anywhere near $7,000, which is what the park has to see. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah, so I would just take them. Don't skip any of them. Just take them. Just take them. Take them and run to the bank.
Yeah, I definitely will now. I just kept, again, I was getting literally the vast majority, and I'm thinking I'm going to end up being specializing in mobile home sales.
Well, and it's hard because some of them really want a mobile home. Some of them really do. Like I think one of the mobile homes that I sold was an Opcity. They really wanted a mobile home. Because they were paying cash, they were getting money from a family member, and that was what they could afford. And now they're looking to move up, and they've called us again to help them out. So that's like double the fun kind of thing. The other two mobile homes that I sold are from open houses. So, I mean, you know, money's money. If you're not taking time out of it's that 80-20 principle, right? If you're not taking time nurturing some of these mobile home buyers away from something that's making you more money, if you have nothing else, take the mobile home buyers, because they could, in the end, buy a condo, or they have a sibling or a friend who wants to buy a house and they work at Google, right?
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Just take the leads, talk to them, practice. That's all I can tell you, honestly.
Appreciate it, Cindy, very much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, most of you will get mobile home leads, and that's because you haven't sold anything. As soon as you sell something, the leads get better. The algorithm understands that you're paying attention. The algorithm understands that you're proficient enough to sell what they sent you. So you have to get those. You have to sell something. If those are the only ones you're getting, you have to take them and you have to sell something, and that will bump you up.
And I knew that was the goal as well. The huge goal is get that first sale, and I'm certain that things, the leads change fairly dramatically. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's a time thing. Like, I didn't up mine to 500 until maybe like last year.
Right.
Because I was just missing them. I was too busy to pay attention to my phone. So I was trying to wean them out a little bit more. But then I got my $3.25 million listing, and then they bought a 3.6 in Saratoga. I mean, I did show them more than 6 houses. We probably saw 8. Because I really helped them vet them on the phone before. I mean, I'll tell them, I'm like, hey, did you see that kitchen? That doesn't look like something you would love. Why don't you take a closer look? I'm not going to waste their time and my time driving out to a house that I know that they're going to hate. because it's dumb. I don't want to do that. So being in tune with what they want creates value, 100%. And it'll save you time too, for sure. So I don't know how to turn this off though. So I think Rosie has to come back and turn it back off. I mean, I hope I shared something useful. I hope you've taken something away that'll help you in the future. I mean, even if you're not using Opcity, you know, the scripts that I've shared, they work with normal people, you know, at the grocery store, anywhere. Just try and make that connection and try and kind of just really connect with them, because as soon as they like you, they will trust you. And as soon as they trust you, they will use you and they will refer you. Okay? Go sell some stuff. I'm excited. I want to see all these names. I want to take a screenshot. I want to see all these names on that Opcity leaderboard in about 6 months. I know you guys can do it. You got this. Go make those Benjamins. Benjamins. I don't know the song. There's a song. I don't know. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Hey, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Go make some money.
Thank you, Cindy. That was nice.
You're welcome.
Thank
I don't know
you.
how- I'm gonna have to ask Rosie how to turn it off. Rosie, how do we turn it off? Rosie? I don't know how. Let me see. Maybe I can figure it out. I got that skills. Let's see. Let's see. Leave. There it is. All right. Dimitri, you don't have any questions? You okay? Yodit, we're good? All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, I gotta fix it and then I'll send it. Ciao.